Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Powerbomb Project. My name is Berman. I'm one of your hosts, and welcoming my two other hosts.
Chris.
And Daniel.
And we are doing a review for NXT Battleground 2023. This was actually a very fun match, and we talked about this. This was a stacked, very, very stacked card for NXT. We were saying this probably could have been. This is better from the older weekend. And I felt like to me it was. There's so many matches that were better than the matches that were on WWE or AEW sometimes. It was brutal, and I think it's still fun to watch to me. So I think this was a great pay per view for NXT. A good start for it.
Yeah. So the overall thoughts, I would probably say not thoughts, goddammit, thoughts of the show is it was pretty solid. I would say this is slightly better than AEW Double or Nothing because I had a lot more fun with this than seeing the other one live. But hey, that's just my own personal preference. There's a lot more bangers in this one than the other pay per view. And you, Daniel?
I thought it was a really good show. I cannot say much. I think NXT is constantly improving bit by bit over the past 6 months, and yeah, this is one of their best shows of 2023 so far. Very good show. Very good show.
Yeah, and they did a great job, and I think they started the good pay per view very well with the NXT North American Championship. Wesley, Joe Gacy, and Tyler Bate. This was a very fun match. I was expecting a lot of interferences from this match to me, I don't know why, but to me, I gotta say this was a very cluster, but it was very fun to watch. A lot of crazy things happening, kicks, the clotheslines. I think this was a great show. It was a really good hook line for people to watch, and I think it was never a dull moment when watching this. So definitely, I would give this an 8.5 for me.
And then again, Berman, like you said before, this is probably it's a Wesley match. No matter who he goes against, it could be a jobber or whoever. But not to discredit Joe Gacy or Tyler Bate because these three make so much an excellent chemistry. I kind of want them to see this run back, and eventually, I would like to see Wesley move up in his position from the North American Championship belt. But it was athleticism at its finest. It's acrobatics. There's many good spots and what have you. It's just overall pretty solid. You couldn't open the show better than what it was. So I'm gonna give it 8 too.
I'm going to agree with Chris. I am going to give it an 8. I kind of get what Chris is trying to say, though. Wesley could literally have a match with anybody, and it's going to be great because Wesley in general is great. Let's just acknowledge that. So is Tyler Bate, though. Tyler Bate is also a phenomenal wrestler. And Joe Gacy is really improving, and we got to see some of that more in this match. But I have a special announcement to make regarding the NXT North American Championship.
You're pregnant.
No.
Okay.
But guess what?
Well,
so you know how at one point this is what it is. The longest reigning NXT North American champion is Velveteen Dream currently. Wesley has dethroned him and is now the longest reigning NXT North American champion in company history.
Yeah, congrats. I think that's deserving, man. Wesley is a great wrestler right now, and I think
he's better than Velveteen, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah, the weird whatever bad things that Velveteen did. It's good thing that they did something like that. Wesley is way better right now. It's so much fun to watch, and I think it was a great job from Wesley.
Yeah, no offense to Velveteen, right? Wesley, I am more fascinated by Wesley than I was with Velveteen Dream during his peak. Wesley has something, man. I didn't see that something in Velveteen, but Wesley has that something. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm going to give this match an 8 out of 10. Very, very good opener.
Yeah, it was okay to run as well. So next is the NXT Heritage Cup Match, which I was very excited for. Noam Dar versus Dragon Lee. The bad things to me, I was expecting a lot of things from Noam Dar, mainly cheating, because in every match he has won. It was with help with someone, so I was expecting something like that. But I think it was still a fun match. I felt a little weird when they did the Heritage Cup there. Just I don't know why, but just because it's not in NXT UK anymore, it just feels a little weird. But I think it still works out. It kind of felt like the crowd was completely dead to me. No one was really cheering that much to me. I kind of felt that because I feel like people didn't know that much about the Heritage Cup. They didn't know what it was about. So, but I think still this was a fun match. It ended with Noam Dar winning by by interference with the Lash Legend and like through two other people in his posse right now, and I expected that perfectly fine with a Nova Roller. So it was fun. I think there's still a rivalry between Noam Dar versus Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier. So to me, this is a very fun match. There was just a small nitpicks, but still, I say give it a 7 for myself.
And yeah, this is probably one of my first time viewing actually of this kind of type of match because at first I was a bit confused, but then I was reading the rules. It kind of reminded me of like a boxing match in a weird way. Like each round has a roughly like what 3 to 4 minutes, from what I saw.
4 minutes. About 4 minutes.
So something like that. It was decent, but I don't know. Maybe it's I'm not too familiar with Noam Dar, but it felt like many of his things were kind of like holding him back. Like the thing is, like he's an excellent like grappler, but Dragon Lee, of course, is a luchador, and sometimes these two styles don't really go ham in ham. So there were a few moments where it kind of felt like a little slow again. But hey, for what it was, I thought it was an excellent match. I was just gonna give it a 6, and again, the interference at the end was kind of random because I don't know who those two ladies were, but I'm just like, okay, so for what it is, I'll just give it a 7. It's safe, nothing harmful. Not as good as the first
So
match though.
I'm gonna tell you, one of them is Lash Legend, who um, hasn't really been featured all that much recently, and it's probably because NXT is trying to become more serious again. So I get it, but she has her, I guess, her sidekick, Miss Jackson. I guess you could call her that. I don't know, but basically, Noam Dar went up to these two like on Wednesday, or not Wednesday, Tuesday, back on NXT, the Go Home show, and he was kind of trying to use his Riz, but they weren't for it. So basically, they were all lying. Deep down, they were already down with Noam Dar underneath all our noses. So yeah, that's the little thing about it. And what is my opinion on this? I guess it gives Lash Legend and Miss Jackson something to do, and I mean it makes sense. Noam Dar clearly has a type if you followed his history.
Yes, he
but
does. 100%.
but yeah, aside from all of that, I thought the match was solid. I think it could have been better, but I kind of get where Chris is coming from, where their styles didn't really mesh that well. Because yeah, I kind of did get that impression here and there, and the ending was a bit confusing at first. But then when I did my research on it, it's like, actually, it does make a little bit of sense. And Noam Dar gained allies and people to help him out and stuff. I mean, it makes sense because Noam Dar isn't really that, he's not really that big. He's smaller than Nathan Frazier, for Christ's sake. And that's not even me bullying Nathan Frazier either. That's just me being straight up in the sense that Noam Dar probably will need help to beat some of these bigger opponents that he fights. So it makes sense. So overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. There are better Heritage Cup matches out there than this one, though.
Yes, and I have watched pretty much every Heritage Cup. There is 2, probably 3 matches from Noam Dar in Heritage Cups are very amazing. One title Bate was a great one that they did. They did a lot against the Gallus people. They did a lot. So you can find some really good ones on Peacock for Noam Dar. You probably get a lot better things, but this was not the best, but it was fairly similar to most Heritage Cups from NXT UK. If anyone watch it. They're probably one of the best matches to watch because they're unique and they're more fun to watch. But as this goes on, it was very fun. So let's go on to the next. It was probably one of my favorite matches of the night. The last man standing match, my boy Ilya Dragonov versus Dijak. This was a brutal match. It was so much fun to watch. There was a lot of crap happening all at once, but it was still very fun to watch. The all the brutalities, the kicks, the going through tables, using the stairs for pretty much everything. It was so unique of a match, and it was so brutal at the same time. Getting like, I was called Dijak hitting Ilya Dragunov with a kendo stick in the corner just felt brutal because you can see how Ilya Dragunov was kind of reacting, which is weird. It was kind of like because the whole thing was Dijak wants to break Ijla because what Ijla always says is that he's immortal, that he is unbreakable. Dijak wants to prove that wrong. In the end, he did not. Ijla Dragonov pretty much knocked him out with a forearm, one to the face, and one from a top of the stairs, horizontal stairs, standing on top of it, and then just jumping down and freaking forearm, and then freaking smashing him on the back of the head with a forearm. Pretty brutal. I really liked that ending too, and it was just so much fun to watch. And this kind of sets up Ijla Dragonov for what's going to happen at some of the other matches. I think it's going to be Carmelo versus Ijla Dragonov for that title, and I'm always hoping Ijla wins that title. There's no way. I always love him. But this match was awesome. To me, I would give this definitely. I would say 9.5. Actually, I really liked it.
And I'm in the same boat, bro. If anything, I just want to give a shout out to Dragonov because I think at one point in the match, like I don't know if it was the kendo stick or not, but he actually got like a deep cut underneath like his chin area. If you noticed that, and like he was like bleeding profusely, but the battle line still kept going. This is definitely match of the year contender. I'm not even joking. This is literally the best match of the night. I'll give this shit a 10. No complaints. Brutal, downright evil. And if Dragonov, if you ever come to WWE, you better beat Walter's ace. That's all I gotta say, man. Or I'm sorry, Gunther.
Just like how he did it in NXT, how he was the one to beat the undefeated Walter back in NXT.
I still haven't seen that, but I should watch that.
Watch both matches. Watch both matches. Yeah. Yeah, this was an outstanding match. Oh, sorry. What were you saying, Berman?
I'm just saying the first match they had was probably the more brutal one between the two.
I see. I think, yeah, I could probably say that's fair from Berman. I do think both matches do kind of tell like a good story, like, you know, in a sense. Like you could watch both matches back to back and it's like its own little story in a way. So that's what's cool about it. But anyways, we're going to be talking about not Walter versus Ijla. We're talking about Ijla versus Dijak and the last man standing. Yeah, at first I had it at a 9, but the more and more we talk about it and the more and more I think about it, it's like, nah, it's a 9.5. It's a really damn fun match. And honestly, it's brutal and it tells this great story of how Dijak wants to test Ijla because Ijla loves pain. He doesn't believe that shit. He wants to make him feel pain till he actually like doesn't want to feel that pain. And there were times in this match where he nearly got Ijla to that point. But Ijla still had that fight in him, still had enough in him to defeat Dijak. And honestly, with a victory this strong, this possibly sets himself for NXT Championship contention. And we'll talk about that by the end of this video. But yeah, overall, 9.5, man. Yeah, I think these guys basically nailed it and nailed the point with this match. It's a fantastic last man standing match. And if you guys think either one of these two aren't worthy of, you know, being a future star in the company, I don't know what to tell you, man. Because T-Bar was obviously a mistake. Dijak clearly is a real deal, a really good reinvention, and he's killing it right now. The fact that he told his wife and daughter before the match that, you know, I want you to look away. I don't want you to see what I'm about to do to Ijla. Then just for him to lose was pretty hilarious. But besides that, it's amazing, man. I'll let everyone continue to the next match.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing is that the blood streak, that was from Dijak hitting a boot out of Ijla mid-air when he was jumping off the stairs, and you can see when that cut happened. It was a pretty good cut when he got it cut on the chin, so it was very interesting. But I always want to mention that because it's kind of fun to see. But the next match is the NXT Tag Team Championship match: Gallus versus Creed Brothers. Gallus, that is Wolfgang Mark Coffey, and his brother Joe Coffey, who's the leader pretty much is Joe Coffey, and Creed's with Ivy Nile. This was a fun match. It was not the best match of the night, I would say. This is probably the low end, but it's saying something with how many other matches are pretty up there. This was a pretty fun match, even if there's a lot of fun like versions. And I think the funnest thing was one of the Creed brothers, the skinnier one, I forgot his name. I think, but he was just German suplexing every single person. No, not German. Belly on belly people, and just kicking up. Kept on going back and forth, like a pendulum. Just kept on going. It was just very fun. To me, the Creed Brothers are very fun to watch, and even with Gallus, and I'm always personal fans of NXT people, UK people. So Gallus was very fun, but at the end, the distraction from the Schism's running mate, forgot her name, uh, attacking Ivy Nile kind of got that thing a distraction, and then Gallus went for their finisher, the call it the knee of doom. I call it for myself, kind of like a Buddha doom, but knee strikes. So it was a very fun match. It was not that bad. I think I would give this probably a 6.5 for me.
And yep, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you. I mean, I really enjoyed the Creed Brothers wrestling style. It just kind of reminded me of like old school Kurt, or no, it'd be like not Kurt because he'd be more technical. What I'm trying to think of a classic dude. I guess you could say like a pork type of style of wrestling where it's just kind of just really old school, just like Germans, belly to bellies and all that stuff. It was fun for
Yeah,
what it was. Thank you, but other than that, it wasn't anything like crazy. So I'll just give it like a 5. It's fine.
yeah, I get what you mean. They kind of have that Kurt Angle Brock sort of thing. But
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, Creed Brothers are awesome. There's no denying it. But this is what I will say. I like Gallus, so don't take away anything from what I'm about to say in this next comment. They didn't do shit in this match. I felt like this was a complete carry job by Creeds, if anything. And I know like that technically doesn't exist. It technically takes two people. Yeah, I get it. No, I feel like Gallus didn't do shit in this match. I'm being genuinely serious. They might have had a few bits here and there, but that's it. The Creed brothers really took the spotlight here. And they lost, but watching this match, it made me think that was the wrong damn decision. But it's whatever, man. I'm not against Gallus retaining either. But hopefully they bring the fight more next time, because Ijla and Dijak was my favorite match of the night. And then this was kind of my least favorite. It wasn't bad, but I was just kind of like, man, you could have done better than this. I know you guys could have done better than this. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's makes some sense to Gallus. Yeah, it didn't do a lot of crap, but they pretty much just won because of the distraction. That's what I would say. But still, it was not a bad match. Everyone aside, all the Gallus aside, they're probably going to do better next matches they're going to do. But next match is the vacant NXT Women's Championship tournament final. Tiffany Stratton versus Lyra Valkyria. Now, this match was very fun. I kind of expected Tiffany to win because of how people love her so much. Everyone just cheers every time, and like people boo sometimes of Lyra. But I feel like this was a fun match, even if. And I feel like Tiffany Stratton was perfectly fine to win. She won by her moonsault, the prettiest moonsault ever, which is a play on words to the best moonsault ever. So it was I think it was definitely a great, fun match, and I think they did a great job on this. Lyra had like an injury on her leg in the match. Say that she couldn't finish it. She tried doing it so many times, didn't do it. But to me, this was not bad. I would say 7. It was not that bad, and good congratulations to Tiffany winning that NXT Championship. Now she is the main woman on the roster right now.
And yeah, I'm actually okay. It's not that I have a problem with Tiffany's wrestling style. She's great in the ring wise. It's just the character of like the snobby like rich girl thing. It kind of is just like I don't find it. I don't find it that good. I just find it kind of cringy. But I understand why they made her the champion, and Daniel will be more better suited to this when his turn comes up. But it's just
Oh,
like
sorry. You might want to repeat that,
oh
because that completely just
okay.
went over me.
Point being, Tiffany's a good wrestler. I just don't like the snobby girl thing that she's doing. So it's kind of like it's cringy for me. It just makes you just want to be like, what are we in the fucking early 2000s, dude? Like, get real. But Daniel, you go ahead and take it over because you're better explaining this shit than I am with Tiffany.
So I think Lyra has a cooler like gimmick, I guess you could say, out of the two, sure. But if you watch the two in the ring, Tiffany is better, and I understand why they gave Tiffany the title. I'm not the biggest fan of Tiffany Stratton either, but I actually respect her, and I understand why her character is the way it is because, it goes with the look that she has. And I understand why, she is the way she is. And, let's just say I thought Io Shirai or Io Sky had one of the best moonsaults in the business. I still think she has the very best. Tiffany might be a close second. I think Tiffany's moonsault Tiffany's moonsault is outstanding. So that's the whole thing. Tiffany as an in-ring performer is better than 90% of the other women involved because I'm going to be honest, I love Gigi Dolan, I love Cora Jade, right? All respect to all those ladies. But if you look at the actual in-ring ability, Tiffany's better than all of them, in my opinion. And her gimmick might not be as good as anyone else's in the sense of Gigi and Cora, but the in-ring ability, she's going to bring it. And that's something I can at least appreciate about Tiffany Stratton winning this title here. And yeah, I thought the match was good. I actually didn't think this match would be as good as it was. It was actually good. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. And yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with Tiffany's reign. They already had a good start on Tuesday with everyone already kind of targeting her and hating her. So, that's a good start with it. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing where it all goes. I'm going to let them cook before I criticize.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Yeah, I don't get me wrong, I am not a personal fan of Tiffany, but it's really true what Danny said about Tiffany, about she's so much better than a lot of people right now. But next match, which I was worried about a little bit because I don't like both of these guys, but NXT Championship, Carmelo Hayes versus Bron Breakker, the new heel version Bron Breakker. I was surprisingly excited now when I was watching the match because I was kind of hating both of them, but at the end I was kind of happy a little bit of what happened. First, it was a fun match. A lot of crap happened, kind of showing mainly Bron Breakker being destructive, being the new heel, being not funny anymore, just being being mean to people, just saying a lot of bad stuff to people. It's like just being arrogant, more or less. And I think it was very fun to see how he was acting better. He was acting a lot better than he was for a long time. I didn't like his character before. His character looks a lot bit better now. Camilla Hayes doing the best he can, and it was looking pretty good. I really loved that spear from the mid-air. That was just the most aggressive spear I saw, man. That was super aggressive. It looked like that could have ended the match right there, man. But in the end, Carmelo won with the the nothing but net finisher without cheating. Yes, without cheating. This is probably the first time I've seen him win a title match without cheating, and this is surprising for me because that was my biggest gripe about Carmelo was that he kept on using this trick.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think it just kind of reaffirms that Carmelo is indeed a babyface now.
Yeah, because you don't see babyfaces really cheat only if the heel is the most annoying person in the world, like Brock Lesnar, which what Seth Rollins did with the low blows and everything, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, I was happy to see actually that Carmelo won because my biggest gripe was I really hated every match he won. Even it was heel, he kept on cheating. He never won it by himself, which pissed me off a lot because it was like, well, that's nothing fun if you're not having someone, if you don't do it by yourself. This time he actually did it by himself, and it was very fun. It was not that bad. I was surprised because I really hated these two. But I'm getting a little bit. I still don't like them, but I'm okay with them. Perfectly honest, that's what I say. But to me, this match was not bad. I probably say this is probably the second best match of the night, under the last man standing match for Ilya. But definitely, I would say an 8.5 for me.
And this match was literally, again, another definition of fun. I love Carmelo and I also love Bron Breakker more. But these two need to go at it again because I want a goddamn rematch. Carmelo should have fucking just died through in that mid-air spear because that shit looked fucking deadly. And there were so many good spots between these two. And I just love these guys feeding together because you have Carmelo who's such a good baby face. He's like the swagger dude or whatever. Like, I'm here to fuck bitches. And then Bron Breakker being the Chad, he's just like, I'm just here to fucking fuck shit up. So I want these two to run it back. Definitely my favorite of the night. So I'll give it an 8.5.
8.5. Yeah, Carmelo and Bron have a lot of potential in this business, and I think they're both going to achieve some pretty good things, especially Carmelo. So yeah, 8.5. They basically said all that needs to be said about this.
Yeah, and now for the personal rating of the show, I would probably 100%. I would give this an 8, maybe an 8.5. I'm still on the edge. To me, I would give it an 8. It was a very, very fun NXT takeover. It kind of felt like an NXT takeover, like black and gold brand version of an NXT takeover. It really felt like. So that's my ratings. What about you guys' ratings?
I'll give it an 8 personally. I really enjoyed this more than AEW, so they get the best pay per view of the weekend for me, dog.
You know what? Thinking about it more, you know what? It deserves the 8. I'll give it that 8. Best NXT show of the year so far. Every NXT show is getting better and better, slowly but surely. We're eventually going to get back to those glorious takeover days. I can feel it in veins, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for NXT Great American Bash in 2 months. And I'm excited for what NXT has to offer in the future. Because believe it or not, part of me is getting more hyped on NXT than WWE and AEW right now, just as a whole.
Same.
NXT has been impressive.
Yeah, same for me too. It's fun. Well, everyone, thank you guys for watching. I've been Berman,
I've been Chris.
And I've been Daniel.
and see you guys in the next video.
Take it easy.